I think I'll talk about what has happened with Visitless, right? Let's talk about her. So, in case you were not aware, Visitless is a YouTuber and a content creator. She is someone who you would call an influencer. She has influenced millions of people, and especially women who look up to her and see her as an older sister who gives life advice and wants the best for them. And which does sound great in our minds or when we say it like this, but is it actually true? Now, before you as a fan come up to me and say, well, of course it is true, I'm not denying that. I will definitely not say that I have never been her fan. Not a fan, that would be too big of a word. But I have viewed her channel for a very long time, and to an extent, I agree to it. But you see, this is what I mean, and this is what we mean when we say that you need to descend to men to actually win. Now, if we remove her context and if we view her just as a creator and whatever her context, no, sorry, whatever her content or whatever storyline she pushed for, if you look into it, you will realize that it was centered heavily around men. Now, be it in a positive or a negative sense, be it in a way to say that, oh, well, she never liked men and she never said that you should bow to men, sure. But whatever she did was, in a way, trying to play into the patriarchy. Whatever she was suggesting was enough to say that, oh, well, men try to take advantages of us anyway, so let's reverse the rules and take advantage of them. We need to understand that either of those ways are not good. And whatever this whole idea of femininity, masculinity, it is a social construct which we have built for ourselves. So, falling into that trap does not really benefit anyone. But if we look past that, I I tend to go on different tangents, excuse me. But if we look past that and if we look into the aspect that since she centered men heavily, and by heavily I mean she wasn't saying that, oh, you should do this for men, you should do that for men. That is a whole different side of Instagram which we can get into. But whatever Visit List did was always about men. She said that, oh, you need to be respected. I'm never gonna pay you on dates. I'm never gonna do this on date, that on date. Sure, don't do them. You make your own rules. And if you find people who would love to accommodate your rules, good for you. But that is not the point. The point is, she pushed for it. And people did, in fact, get influenced. And now, when after praising this man, after settling for a man, when she gets cheated on, there is this whole suggestion that, oh, look how brave she is, and she walked away, which is honestly should be a bare minimum and should be a standard which you should settle in society. That whenever you feel in a relationship you are not equals, and there is a disbalance, then you should try to either balance it, and if it's disproportionate, you should walk away, which is normal. But somehow, when Visitless did it, it somehow got to the point that people are going, we can't trust our boyfriends anymore because Visitless boyfriend did that, and look at her standards and look at what she did. Now, what this does is create hierarchies, since there were hierarchies created that, oh, look at women like Visitless, look at women like Beyonce, look at women like Taylor Swift. These amazing, amazing women got cheated on. What about us? Whatever is going to happen to us? Now, this might not sound like much when we say it, but that's creating hierarchy. That's saying that, oh, there is a level of women which is at the top level, which are pretty, which are smart, which have money, which knows what's best for them, and which can actually influence a lot of people. And then there's another level of women who are not that pretty, not that smart, or someone who have those women to look up to. Now, this Of course, I'm not saying it in a regard that you should not have someone to look up to or to respect, but this here is creating hierarchies in a way that, oh, if the pretty woman, if such a woman of a high standard could get cheated on, what about me? I am never going to get in a really good relationship. That is what happens. That is what people start thinking about themselves. And that is where things go wrong. You know why this happened? Because it was heavily centered around men. You see, this whole idea of feminism is to get out of patriarchy. But what these content creators have done is to center patriarchy and to center men and to let it be. And I know this sounds like I'm hating on Wizardless. I'm not. Honestly, I have similar standards, so I don't say much about them. Of course, you can do whatever you want, but pushing your own ideologies onto others is a different thing. What I do when I have certain opinions and values is I put them forward and I describe them if people ask for it. And when that is done, I tend to move away from the topic. I don't say that, oh, this is done, you should do this. I'm here not blatantly attacking Wizardless. I'm attacking all of the influencers who run on this module. That, oh, this is I do. Even today I saw 2 reels of a woman who was saying that I expect this of a man. Boyfriend is a scam. There should only be a husband, blah blah blah. And they have certain reasons and they say that this is happening, that is happening, they should do, that should do. Sounds good in theory, but we all know in practical life it is very difficult. Very difficult. And I know that people tend to say that, oh, but these women also didn't come from a very privileged background, like, they were like us. But were they really? Right? And you should also look into that if they were in fact like us, although the whole idea of like being like us is also a social construct that we need to break down, but we'll do it some other time. But if there were in fact no privileges, then why is it that not all of us are there? There seems to be a difference, right? If there were so millions of followers of these content creators, then there should be a reason why these content creators reached there and not those millions of followers. Because those millions of followers, are you telling me that none of them had the same standards, none of them had the same ideologies? Only her? Or only the same, those influencers? Are you really gonna bet on that? What I'm trying to say here, the whole idea of my 9-minute rant was the fact that you don't have to rely on, you don't have to get into the drama so much. It's okay. I know you're hurt that someone you looked up to, you respected, happened to go through this. It's okay to support them, but don't center your life around hating or thinking about things like this that to the point that it starts affecting your own life and relationships. What I meant to say here is that I'm not saying that you should not talk about this. It is a great deal. A man cheated on his girlfriend. It is a bad thing, should not happen. There are other bad things happening in life too, There are genocides happening right now as I'm speaking and you're listening, probably. There are wars happening, there are people dying of hunger, the planet is getting disheveled, etc., etc. There are rapes happening as we talk, murders. If there was as much as attention to them instead of one relationship breaking apart, which happens in almost every single relationship there is, I think we would know better then, because we would then be handling things much more severely. So this thing came into my mind because I saw so many new creators popping up on my feed because of this whole thing which happened, and honestly I was surprised because I barely ever see these many creators coming up when I hear about a rape case or some murder or some assault which happened down the street, because they may not be very well known, and even when they are well known, there isn't much of a uproar as there was for an influencer, which is, well, a very big accomplishment for the influencer itself to say that their followers are that supportive, which is great. But I think we need to know where and what thing we need to devote our mind to. We need to look into what's best for us. You shouldn't be too invested in someone to the point that you're letting it affect your life and you're letting it dictate your actions. That is not okay. That is personally, I think, is not okay. So yeah, of course you're free to disagree. Let's keep it civil. Disagree with me. I would love to learn more about your opinions and thoughts, but that is what I thought. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I think I'll be ranting more. Yeah, coming soon.